Hey guys, it's Matt with BleepinJeep.com, and today we're going to be installing this, a JcrOffroad rear bumper for the black zombie Jeep. But before we get started, check out the website, BleepinJeep.com. We've got all the best off-road videos on YouTube, none of the boring stuff. We've also got hats and t-shirts, discount coupon codes, muffler bearings, and flex capacitors. So check it out, BleepinJeep.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the Facebook page. Alright, let's get started. Alright guys, so the first step is to paint or have this thing powder coated. Now it's recommended that you do a test fit to make sure everything lines up correctly before you paint it. If you do need to do a slight modification, it's going to be easier before it's painted. For this video though, I'm going to install this unpainted. If you need painting tips, you can check that out on JCR's website. Alright, so the next step would be to remove your stock rear bumper. I've already done that, but if you want to see a how-to video, just click right here. After that, let's get started. Alright, so we're working on a 1990 Cherokee here, but if you got a 97 or later Cherokee, then the lines are going to be a little bit different. You'll have a plastic piece coming back all the way back to the bumper back here. And to take care of that, you'll just take a Sharpie, draw a straight line down from the corner of the taillight right here, and then cut that off with a knife or whatever you have. If you're working on a 96 or earlier, it's going to look just like this, and you don't have to worry about it. The bumper will come in and fit nice and tight with this piece. Alright, so the tools that we'll need for the install are pretty minimal. You'll probably need a couple of socket wrenches, maybe some extensions. You'll need a 3/4 and a 15/16 wrench, and you'll also need 15/16 sockets, 3/4 and 15 millimeter, and I think that's about it. Alright, so the next step is to put in your nut strips if you opted for those. Now what those are is just nuts welded onto a strip, and it helps you locate them inside the frame rail here. Now if you've got a trailer hitch or something like that attached, you'll need to unbolt the bolts from there, and then all you're going to do is slide this nut strip in. Now the one that points to the right goes on the right side, and the one that points to the left goes on the left side. Now if you've got some nuts in there, you'll want to take those out, and if you have stock nut strip, you want to take that out as well. Then I'm going to take the bolts that came with it, and we'll just put those in hand tight. I'm going to leave everything hand tight until we get the bumper installed, and then we'll tighten everything down. Oh, and before I forget to mention, if you're not going to be using those nut strips, which I do recommend that you get those nut strips, but if you're not, now is the time to install these. These are the uniframe tie-in brackets. And if you're not going to be using those nut strips, you'll have to install these now, because once you get the bumper on there, you won't be able to get back here to the nuts. So it comes with a little bag of bolts like this, and you'll just put those 4 bolts up through here, and you'll have to feed the nuts in here. It's kind of hard to get in there, but you want to put a lock washer on the back. That way, once everything is covered up, you'll be able to tighten that down without getting onto the inside. But since I have the nut strips, I'm going to put these on a little bit later. Alright, so the next thing we'll do is put on the rear brackets that hold on the bumper. So to get that right, the easiest way to remember is to hold it up like this. Make sure you see a circle right there cut out, and then we're going to put it like this. This one goes on the right, this one goes on the left, that circle goes down. At this point I'm just going to open the rear hatch, make everything a little bit easier for me. And you're going to use your stock bolts that came off of the stock bumper to hold that bracket in. Alright, once again, I'm not going to tighten those down too tight. I'll need that to move back and forth so I can get the final adjustment of the bumper. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so once you get those brackets hand tight, just make sure that they'll slide back and forth. And then put them towards the inside. And then grab your bumper and slide it on. Alright, now we're going to take the 4 large bolts that came with the bumper, and we're going to attach the bumper to the bumper bracket. To do that, I'll just put them up through here from the outside end and try to get them into the holes here. Probably going to need to lift up a little bit. There's one. There's 2, 3, and 4. Alright, now I'll take a washer, put it over that. And finally the nuts. And of course the same on the other side. Alright, so now that the bumper is on there loosely, I'm going to close the tailgate. And now we can make our final adjustments. Now the bumper will raise up, and it'll also go left and right. Once we get it in the perfect spot, we'll tighten everything down. To do that, I'll just use a floor jack and a block of wood. I'll put it up here like this and raise it into place. Next, I want to make sure that it's equal left and right. So to do that, I'm going to come over here, just use my hand to make sure it's flush right here and on the other side. And it's absolutely perfect right there. So then I'm going to take that bracket and use my hand just to push it out so that it contacts the bumper. Make sure that the bumper is still in the right position, and then I'm going to tighten down those 4 bolts that hold the bumper bracket to the frame. And I'll do the same on the left side here, making sure once again that the bumper bracket is flush with the bumper and that the bumper is in the correct spot, and then I'll tighten it down. Alright, but before we tighten down that bumper for good, we want to install these, what I mentioned before. These are the bumper tie-in brackets. To do that, I'm just going to release this nut here on the nut strip. Then I'm going to take the tie-in bracket. It bolts to the first 2 nuts on the nut strip, here and here, and then right here it bolts to the bumper. Alright, now I'll just leave that loose until I get the bumper tightened down, and then I'll tighten this. Alright, so now it's not going to move left and right. Now it'll still move up and down, and it'll still rotate. So what I'm going to do is get it in the exact spot that I want it, and then we'll tighten those 4 bolts down here, and then it'll be locked in position. Alright, so I used the jack to jack it up all the way to the lights as far as it'll go. Looks pretty good. I'm going to make sure that the door closes. And everything looks great. So now I'm going to bolt those 2 bolts down here and on this side as well, and it'll be locked in position. Alright, now you can tighten this bumper tie-in bracket down and any other nuts and bolts you might have missed along the way. Alright guys, that's it. We're done. That's a nice stout bumper right there. Let me tell you why I like it. Number 1, it's heavy duty. This thing is made out of some thick steel, but yet it still matches and looks just like it fits on the Cherokee. Number 2, it's got these brackets here that allow you to put a D-ring, pull your buddies out. Number 3, it's got this 2-inch receiver right here. You can put a trailer on here, you can put a ball, you can put a hook, you can put a barbecue grill, whatever you want. Not only that, but it still has the same towing capacity as your stock Cherokee. So you can pull a trailer with this thing, still have the same capacity as a Class 4 receiver. But the coolest thing of all was that this black Jeep, the Zombie Jeep, didn't come with a 2-inch receiver. So instead of having to buy that and a bumper, you get it all in one package. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the website, BleepinJeep.com. We've got all the best off-road videos on YouTube, none of the boring stuff. We've also got hats and t-shirts, flux capacitors, muffler bearings, and discount coupon codes. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the Facebook page as well. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time.